Hello, everyone, and welcome to the very first video online edition ng F Magazine. It's actually my F Magazine because we've been uh, on the hiatus for 2 years, and now we're officially back, and it's gonna be here on YouTube, my F Magazine. So please subscribe po muna tayo. Please click, and then we can start. So I've been publishing since 2008 with Arizona Filipino Forum, and then in 2016 we decided to start F Magazine, glossy magazine, and then we took an off for a couple of years, but now again we're back and we're very blessed and thankful that we're able to do this for you guys, and it's all because of, oh my God, ang COVID-19. So because of what's happening around us, we finally made an effort to produce something like this for all of you. And thanks to Mr. Iman Esturco for encouraging me to do this. And of course, Marcy Goma from Abaca Foundation. And because I'm a nurse, I would like to do a little friendly reminder because our session today is all about COVID-19. Just a friendly reminder po to wear our mask, to do social distancing pa rin, and to frequently wash our hands. Again, yung happy birthday 2 times, kantahin niyo po yan habang nag-wash kayo ng hands, or hand sanitizers will also do. And because we live in Arizona, ang init po ngayon. Kahapon po 117. We're in the triple digits all week long. So, huwag niyo pong kalimutan ang inyong bottled water when you're out there. So, today we have a couple of guests to be interviewed. And again, it's all about COVID-19. How do we cope with this pandemic? And it's very, very challenging. I know that for sure because I myself is a COVID survivor. And I was sick of the COVID, and my whole family during the early on, like second week of March when I got sick. I'm always grateful too. Example po dyan, itong aking co-host po. Galing pa po siya ng Chicago, and she's never absent when there's a milestone event in my life. And this time, it's the video online edition of F Magazine. She is an award-winning TV host, producer from Chicago, a writer, an international performing artist, actress, model, jet setter, tagged as corporate powerhouse by day and party foul by night. As a philanthropist, she's a real beauty activist and global ambassador who advocates for suicide prevention and domestic violence. She also graced the cover of F Magazine and is one of our writers. She considered Arizona as her second home, totoo po yan, as she hosted emceed numerous events in AIPA, Luz Viminda Fashion Show, and of course, Annie Awards. Speaking of the angel, she's right there. Say hello to everyone, Miss Jovie Calma from Chicago.
Hi. Welcome to first edition of online or digital F Magazine. Congratulations on this launch. I'm so excited for you. And of course,
Thank you. I was telling everyone how you've been a big part of F Magazine, and now we're My F Magazine on YouTube. We do have our channel, but there's nothing yet over there. So ito yung unang-una nating ipapublish.
Yes. I'm so happy that you're healthy and that you are continue making a difference in our kababayans, with our kababayans out there in Arizona.
You're actually here in Arizona. Are you like not afraid?
Well,
because of the spike in coronavirus?
Well, I'm from Chicago, and so I think you're aware that Chicago cases is more than Arizona, and I'm quite aware of what's going on, of what to do. I practice social distancing. I wear my mask all the time if I need to be out. So nothing to worry about. So I'm just like trying to be responsible and doing my share.
All right. Our very first guest here on my F Magazine Video Online Edition, it holds a public post in the city of Tempe, which is east of Phoenix, Arizona. It is also known as a college town because it's the home of Arizona State University. The city prides itself on being a welcoming and inclusive community, but coronavirus, of course, is not welcome there. The virus absolutely knows no boundaries, causing the newly elected, hint, 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 mayor to take his oath virtually. He himself is a COVID survivor, Jovi.
Wow. That's really something that we need to celebrate as well as we welcome the new elected mayor of Tempe. And of course, as you have shared, that he survived coronavirus himself. So Mayor Curry Woods is responsible for assisting the managing director with operations as well as external partnerships and strategic initiatives. He previously served as the chief operating officer for the Greater Phoenix Urban League. Wow, that's really great to hear that. He was also the director of college and career articulation for the Phoenix Union High School District and the Director of Government Relations for the American Lung Association of Arizona. So Corey Wood served as a council member for the city of Tempe from July 2008 until July 2016. So he really have a great background, and for sure I'm positive that when he was elected to the Tempe City Council in May 2008, he have contributed a lot and re-elected to the city council in March 2012. So our mayor, Corey Woods, was instrumental also in guiding city policy that led to Tempe's perfect score in the Human Rights Campaign's Municipal Equality Index.
In his professional career, he is the Chief of Staff of ASU Preparatory Academy.
Well, I'm so excited to introduce our first guest, Flor, the newly elected mayor of the city of Tempe. Let's give a big round of applause to Mayor Corey Woods.
Thank you so much. It's a pleasure being with you today. Just happy to be on.
Thank you, Mayor. Welcome to my F Magazine Video Online Edition, and we appreciate you for taking your time to be our very first guest. How are you?
Doing really well, thank you. Just did a few things this morning, but it's been a very busy first month. I've been on the job now for about a month and 2 days, but there have definitely been no dull moments during that time, from trying to deal with the COVID pandemic to dealing with my own situation of getting COVID myself, to the train derailment and railroad collapse that happened this past Wednesday. So, I mean, for me, there's been so much going on that I have had no time to rest, but I'm still enjoying the job and just excited to serve the residents of Tempe.
Very good. Well, Mayor, we'd like to hear your story about COVID-19. What happened? Bring us to that time when you got infected with this virus.
Sure. So my story was on a Friday morning. I believe it was June 27th. I woke up and had a fever of about 100.4. So, really on a normal scale, that's sort of a mild fever. But at the same time, I also knew that we're very far outside of traditional flu season. So I probably should, given the circumstances with COVID being everywhere, I should probably get myself tested. So given that it was a Friday morning, I was able to schedule the test for the following Monday. So I had to wait a couple of days, but went in first thing Monday morning around 9 a.m. and got my test. I had a test through the ASU Biodesign Institute, so it was one of the non-invasive saliva tests, not the nasal swab, but you basically spit through a straw into a vial. So while it sounds kind of gross, it's actually good because you don't have to worry about the swab going very far up your nose. So it's not painful at all. And I got the results back in about roughly a day and a half or so. But my main symptoms were I had body aches. I had a fever for about 24 hours. I had a complete loss of smell, and some of my loss of taste too was pretty evident. There were things that I could taste that were only very salty or very sweet, but nothing in between. And I had a hard time telling foods apart. So, by most standards, my case was a fairly mild case. I was never hospitalized. I was never on a ventilator. I was never on any medication for it. But still, that being said, getting the flu or getting COVID-19, all of these things are scary, quite honestly. And while I might have been okay, there are a lot of people, if they've got some kind of underlying pre-existing condition, or perhaps they might be a senior citizen where their immune systems might not be as strong, and they might have a tougher time fighting it off. This can be a really deadly virus. So I'm fortunate to be 100% recovered. I actually got a test back on July, I believe it was 16th, that did confirm that I was negative. So, I mean, it's completely out of my system at this point, and I'm back to 100% physically and doing everything I was doing before. But still, I mean, it's definitely a little bit scary given the limited information and knowledge we have about this virus. And it's something that I definitely still encourage people to remain vigilant about and make sure that they wear their masks, that they practice physical distancing, and do whatever we can to stop the spread of this virus.
I understand. I myself is a COVID survivor too. And being mayor and during this pandemic times, how challenging is it to deal with this virus, Mayor?
It's very challenging for a couple of big reasons. One is clearly, first and foremost, public health. You worry every day about the health and well-being of your residents and just want to make sure that they are healthy and not contracting this virus. So that's the first thing. The second thing is, from the economic perspective, people are not going out like they did before. They're not spending money the same way because we are all trying to adhere to, the CDC guidelines and local guidelines of trying to stay at home whenever possible and not venturing out and leaving the home. So people aren't just going out for a scoop of ice cream and going to, lunch and dinner and breakfast like they were before. They're not going out to shop for goods like they were before. So, there's two things. Really, it is the public health challenge of just making sure that people are healthy and well. And of course, worrying about ICUs and hospital bed availability. But two, it's just the damage that the COVID pandemic has done to the economy and the struggle that a lot of our small and medium-sized businesses have had to deal with because people just aren't out shopping and spending money like they did.
Mayor Corey, about your journey being a COVID-19 survivor, knowing that I'm from Chicago, and I would like to know more about the precaution or what measures your city of Tempe is implementing within your constituents to fight this pandemic that we're currently in.
So at a very high level, I mean, we have a citywide mask mandate. So in Tempe, in public places and what they call places of public accommodation, you are required to wear a mask. The apartment building that I live in right now, you are required to wear a mask when you're in any public place. So if I'm taking my trash out, if I'm going to get my mail, or if I'm going to the lobby, I'm required to wear a mask in every place within this building, unless I'm within my own home. But really the biggest thing is, it's telling people that you've got to wear a mask, encouraging physical distancing and making sure that people, stay a certain amount of feet apart from one another to avoid transmitting the virus to somebody else. And then of course, just telling people to stay home as much as possible, because really it's true that the safest place you can possibly be during this time is at home and not out in public.
Well, thank you, Mayor, for sharing that. When you mentioned about like it's a requirement or a mandatory to wear a mask, like indoor and out. So how do you monitor that? Is there like some sort of like penalty that you impose to restaurants or some people who doesn't really follow that mandate?
So a couple of things. I mean, at this point, it's really, I would say, complaint-based is how I would say it. We don't proactively send code enforcement officers or police officers to people's sites. We're not just simply having people driving around, walking into restaurants and poking their heads in to see if people are wearing masks. It really is a thing that we expect people to self-report, and a lot of people do. I get plenty of correspondence from people on a regular basis saying, you know, Mayor, I was somewhere today, and here's the business, and people were not wearing masks. And I'd like to see if someone the city can go out and check this out and try to get these folks to comply. The biggest thing we tell people, though, is this really for us is more about education than it is about punishment and about fines. We would much prefer just to see people comply with the ordinance and to comply with the physical distancing and wearing face coverings than go in anybody's pocketbook, whether it's a resident or a business during this time. Look, we understand that people are financially hurting right now and really struggling. So we don't want to fine or cite anybody. All we're asking people to do is to adhere to what I would personally say is part of the social contract, which is wear the mask for your own protection, but also wear the mask for the protection of others. I have a father who's 81 years old. I'm 41. So I was fortunate enough that when I got this, it was a mild case, and given my age and my general state of well-being, being healthy, working out 4 times a week, and not having any serious underlying conditions, I was able to beat it. But someone who is 81 years old, like my father, might have a much tougher case and might not be as successful beating it. So really the truth is wear the mask for your own personal safety and security, but wear it for the sake of other people around you. You very well could have it and be asymptomatic and not know that you have it because maybe you don't have any body aches, you don't have the flu or anything, or a fever or anything of that nature. So, but you might still be an asymptomatic carrier and not know because you haven't been tested. So all I would ask people to do, and I think it's a very small sacrifice during this time, but if you're going to the grocery store, if you're going to Target to go get something, if you're going to the drugstore, if you're going out to any public place, just put the mask on. It's all we're asking people to do. I think wearing the mask is the least that we can do to really stop the spread of COVID-19.
I heard as well that Mayor Corey Woods is the first African-American elected mayor in
That's
the
right.
city. And that's a huge win. Congratulations, Mayor. And of course,
Thank
I
you.
would like to, just a quick question. How do you feel about that, being the first African-American elected mayor in Arizona or in the city of Tempe?
So, it's a great feeling. Interestingly enough, kind of going back to 2008, at the age of 29, I became the first African-American city council member in Tempe. And then, at the age of 41 now, became the city's first African-American mayor. So I guess I was able to break through that glass ceiling not once, but twice. It feels great to accomplish something like that, because the reality is, while I'm a mayor for all people of the city, regardless of what your background might be, regardless of what your race, gender, ethnicity, religious affiliation, I am the mayor for anyone who's here in Tempe, who lives here or happens to work here. But at the same time, I fully recognize that it's very important many times for people to see someone who looks like them in a certain position. That if there are young students coming up right now in our local middle schools or high schools, and they might be African American, and they're looking and saying, wow, I didn't realize before seeing Corey that I could be mayor of the 9th largest city of the state of Arizona. But now that I see him in this position doing what he's doing, it gives me hope that I can actually achieve something similar, and it possibly gives them another option from a career path standpoint. Many times, if you don't, I know there are a lot of people. Now, I was sort of different. My perspective was, I thought at some point the city of Tempe was going to elect someone who looked like me. So why not me personally? And so that's sort of what fueled me to run, because I was instilled with a certain sense of, kind of confidence and a passion for public service that my parents and my brother gave me. And so that's why I ended up in this role. And so if I can serve in this role as mayor of the city of Tempe, and I can prove to be an inspiration for a young person coming along, or perhaps for someone of my father's generation, the fulfillment of their dream and all the work that they did during the civil rights movement to provide, myself with this kind of an opportunity, that I'm very proud to be that person and to serve in that role.
Well, thank you for your service, Mayor, and we look forward to working with you. Whatever projects you may have in your city, just feel free to reach out to the Asian community in Arizona, and congratulations. And we're very happy that you got over COVID and you're continuously fighting it for your community. Thank you.
Thank you. And I just wanted to say to you really quickly before I go, I just really appreciate the opportunity to take part in this interview. And yes, I mean, definitely when the film festival comes back around or any other events, please feel free to reach out to me directly into my office. I would love to make sure that I'm there to support you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor. Congratulations once again, and I wish you well and stay safe. And I'm so happy to hear that you survived this coronavirus.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. And just thanks for the opportunity to come on today.
Wow, ang bait naman ni Mayor. Pinaunlakan niya tayo, di ba? Jovi?
No.
On our very first video online presentation here.
I'm so happy to hear that Mayor Corey Woods was able to join with us today. And that's a huge win as well, because knowing that he's only been in the office for 1 month and a half or a few days, right? Like, he's able to do this exclusive interview.
Right.
For
Diba, may sakit siya ng COVID, kaka-elect niya pa lang. Nag-oath taking siya virtually because of, COVID. So, yung mga graduates natin, hindi rin sila nakagraduate. I mean, nakagraduate sila, but they didn't have the actual ceremony. To all the graduates of 2020, mabuhay po kayong lahat. Eto na ang ating very first PhilAm. He was exposed actually like March 8 and felt bad symptoms by March 11. So only 72 hours. And he's the, again, first reported positive case of COVID-19 in the Filipino-American community in Arizona. He is a singer, songwriter, and recently finished his master's degree in business analytics at Grand Canyon University.
And he breaks the novel coronavirus stigma with a message of hope, fortitude, and faith in these challenging times. Ryan tested positive of COVID last March 15.
Magkasama kami actually sa party kung saan nahawa kami ng COVID-19. And during that time, Jovi, it was very tough because there were only 6 to 7 people in Arizona who had COVID-19. So the stigma was there. People wouldn't really talagang nagpapanik pag nalaman na meron kang COVID-19. Being a nurse, I was already aware and taking every precautions at that time to avoid being exposed. But you know what? During that time also, it wasn't, wala pang mandatory masking, Mask Up Arizona, wala pa yung hashtag na ganyan. So, ayan na siya.
There you go. There's our second guest for today, Ryan.
Hello.
Hi, Ryan.
Hello.
How
Good
are you?
afternoon. I'm doing good. How are you doing?
You're fully recovered from the COVID.
Yeah, I was recovered. I do remember during that time, I believe I was the first Filipino American to be reported, positive of COVID, and I just used my experience to educate, the Filipino American community here in Arizona as much as I can.
So, talagang ikaw ang nagmamay-ari ng corona ng COVID.
Corona ng, ng Arizona. Apo.
Anong feeling mo na ikaw yon?
At first, I would say I was still in denial, because I did remember there were just like 10 or 12 cases. I was just thinking that I wasn't going out of state, and there's very little cases in Arizona. And when Mayo Clinic called, it was really shattering on my part. Like I couldn't believe it. I was really scared for my life because at that time, there's no definite cure yet. I mean, and even now, right? But at that point, we're just being advised to stay at home. So I don't know what would happen to myself, to my family. So it's very frightening at that point for me.
Nag-goosebumps tuloy ako. Kinilabutan ko.
So you mentioned about like when you got tested positive. Of course, there are like some necessary steps or precautions that you have to do in order to protect not only yourself but also your family. Can you share about your journey about how what did you do and what is the steps that you have taken in order to protect yourself and your family as well?
The main step to protect myself and my family is to do quarantine and isolation at that point. So we need to have an action plan because I do have my family with me. So we need to have a strategy wherein I would be isolated, and just to mention that me and my wife got the virus. So we are both staying in one room, and then the kids are thankfully being taken care of my mom and some of our friends. So we did that setup for 2 weeks and more, until the time wherein we already got negative with COVID. But mainly being isolated and just um, being able to follow the rules. So mainly taking a lot of rest, um, mainly sanitizing our house as well on a regular basis. I think that's important for us to be able to make sure that we don't spread the virus. Yeah, and just staying home until the point wherein we got negative. But we were actually advised at that point that after 2 weeks, it's already safe, that we're not infectious anymore. But still, we waited for that test result to be negative before we go out.
But what is your biggest fear and the realization of what you learned about your COVID journey?
Yeah, my biggest fear is basically losing my family, because I do have small kids, and that's just very concerning for me. What would happen to them. And apart from that, mainly just this uncertainty of our lives, of what will happen to my life, to my career during this pandemic. Thankfully, I was able to work from home at that time. But I do know a lot of cases wherein people weren't really able to work during that time, and it was a struggle for them as well. So mainly that point wherein I'm not certain of what would happen to myself, to my family, what's next for all of us. So
Now that the state Arizona has opened up, and parang parang nagiging complacent na yung iba sa atin, like they're starting to gather in larger groups instead of 10. So meron ng mga nagpa-party-party. Anong masasabi mo dyan, being a COVID-19 survivor?
for me, we should take this seriously. So based from what happened to me, I can fairly say that this is the worst like flu sickness that I have been through. And it's really not easy. I wouldn't wish anyone, to experience what I've been through. So I would really advise them, to avoid going to large gatherings. Or, if this is something that cannot be avoided, so let's say it's very important to go to that place. Let's say they would need to take care of someone. They need to be careful and practice, social distancing, and of course wearing masks as what is being advised to us. So we just need to follow the rules, and it's not that hard, to wear masks compared to having that sickness. So I would advise people to just be very careful, and to avoid large gatherings or places with big with big number of people, for us not to get or to spread the virus.
How would you describe your COVID journey, like in a song?
in a song. Yeah, I was I did
And
uh
sing it.
posted about this gaya ng dati, because it's a song about, um it's like the prodigal son. So at some point, we veer away from our faith, or we forget about God because of getting very busy, getting very occupied in life. So that song reminds us to go back, and relive our faith. I was actually, to be honest, I was waiting for that point, because I've got so busy, even in my weekends, I was always, like doing live music across the valley. So I have very little time with my family, and this is an answered prayer for me. So if there's anything positive about COVID, it's me having more time, or spending more time with my family, and I'm very grateful for that. So I'm just advising people as well to see the positive things, that during these times we would be able to appreciate those simple things in life, that we are neglecting before.
Oh, ang ganda naman ng sinabi mo. Can you
Yeah,
sing
that's
it
very
one more
moving
time?
for Ryan. Like, I am really moved by what you have shared, because really COVID-19, everyone, I think I can speak for myself too, that it's very humbling, and that makes me grounded and more appreciative of the quality time that I've been missing. So yeah, kudos to you.
Yeah, kantahan mo naman kami ng few favorite lines mo dun sa song, Ryan.
All right. Yeah, I can't wait to hear
Kinabahan naman ako.
Ryan.
On the spot. Dali na, kanta
Um,
na. Oh, look at my mug.
yeah. Yes. Panginoon, ako'y nabulag ng mandarayang mundo. Ako'y patawarin mo mula ngayon. Ang buhay kong ito'y iaalay sa'yo. Gamitin mo ako gaya ng dati. That's it.
Aww, very heartwarming
I
naman.
know.
Aww,
Thank you.
thank you so much, Ryan. And
Thank you so much, Ben, for allowing me to, to share my story, Miss Flora and Miss Jovi. Appreciate it. And
all
more
right.
more power and good luck.
Thank you. And
Thank you,
thank you
Ryan,
for
and
sharing that very
congratulations. I heard like you added another feather in your cap. So good luck
Oh,
to
thank you.
you.
Thank you so much. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you.
There you have it, Miss Jovi, yung dalawa nating guests for our very first F Magazine video online edition.
Yes, I'm so happy and thrilled to hear, and of course, grounded and moving. I'm so honored to hear those stories that they have shared, and knowing that you yourself, Flor, is a COVID-19 survivor. This is really a great platform to share your journey as well. And this is like a one thing that we can do, steer awareness to everyone, to all the televiewers, to all the viewers. Really have to do our share in every possible way, small step, that we can.
At this time, we'd like to acknowledge some of our sponsors for our maiden issue. Palm Valley Medical Spa. It's owned by nurse practitioner Jennifer Garcia. Grace Home Health Care for your home health needs. We have Abaka Foundation, Marcy Goma, IFA, from our very own kapatid, Jovi. And SMDC, yung mga condo units nila. And I think Noel is the contact person here in Arizona. So there you have it. May nagtatanong, what do we expect from F Magazine? Very good question. Well, this is our very first one. Like before, it will always be a stage where we bring the community news, we bring people together, not only their stories, but your stories as well. So if you have any articles that you would like us to any articles that you'd like to share, please send them to editor@myfmagazine.com. So that's where you're gonna send your articles for us to review for publishing, and it's at MyFmagazine. I mean, editor at myfmagazine.com. And also, YouTube channel, it will be My F Magazine and F Magazine Online Video Edition sa YouTube po. Ayun lang. Any final words, Miss Jovi? Thank you so much for joining me on this very special edition of My F Magazine.
I am so honored, of course, and excited for you for F Magazine, and I'm thankful that you're allowing me to, continue share my passion and knowing the stories of our kababayans here in Arizona. And no, who knows? We're gonna have some stories from Chicago that I'll be very happy to share with you. But congratulations again on this launch, on the first video online edition of F Magazine. And be well and stay safe, Floor. And to our kapatid Iman and Surko, Asian International Film Festival, Arizona. I can't wait to have that. I know this is going to be like a new normal for all of us, but magsama-sama tayong lahat and let's continue to pray, right?
Right. Thank you. And for those who would be interested to advertise with us, please contact us, send us an email at advertise@myfmagazine.com. And our website is www.myfmagazine.com. Oy, Jovi, gusto ko pa ng pasalamatan bago ko makalimutan. Yung creative team, besides Iman, Marcy, you're also there. Arnold Arguillo from the Philippines and Ryan Christopher de la Cruz. They're working with us remotely. And again, our world is smaller because of our technology. And thanks to Zoom, our new normal is this. Instead of being in a studio, this is our studio. And we're able to connect with one another through My F Magazine video online. And before I end it, I'm gonna share a wisdom of the day. Since mahilig po ako sa OOTD at AOTD, ngayon meron na rin tayong MOTD. So OOTD is outfit of the day, AOTD is accessories of the day, MOTD, because of the COVID, ayan, nadagdagan. It's a mask of the day. So here, on F Magazine, we'd like to add WOTD, and that stands for Wisdom of the Day. And this is from Ann Lau. She posts every day, daily wisdoms. And perfect naman po itong nakita ko. Here you go. Reset, readjust, restart, refocus as many times as you need to. Perfect for F Magazine. Alam niyo po, maraming beses na po kami nag-attempt, lulusot, lalabas, mawawala para pong palitaw. But we're here to stay, and like what I've said in the beginning, first love never dies. This is my first love before becoming a nurse. So, and I'm just fortunate that I'm able to do this because of people like you. Salamat po. Stay safe, healthy, happy, be kind, and flourish. Salamat po.